How's it going, Oaks? Welcome to the Fight Scene YouTube channel. Welcome back to the Fight Scene podcast. Today I got a very special guest. My boy Cameron is here with me today. Cam, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm stoked to be here. You know, what's up to all the losers out there watching us here? I'm stoked to give my 2 cents on everything, and I think we can give some good opinions here.
I
hey?
think we can, bro. I think it's going to be epic. So, Oaks, what we got for you today, I know you're sick of hearing about it, but quick little recap of a couple fights at UFC 318. Then we'll get into maybe what's next for Holloway. Then into the Abu Dhabi little breakdown of a few fights there. Not doing everything, but a couple main card fights. And yeah, maybe we'll chat some other garbage along the way.
Well, the garbage never hurt anyone.
Yeah, but it's lekker to have you here, my bro. And let's get into it. So, UFC 318, we'll start the last 3 fights of the card. Holland versus Rodriguez. Toy, I know you got some opinions on that. Let's hear them. Let's hear them.
I will say, what a fight. Great. I mean, round 1, swing round, could have gone anywhere. Round 2, clearly Rodriguez. Round 3, clearly Holland. I will say, I question Holland's fight IQ in this fight. That last round, he really should have walked away with a finish. I thought a lot of stupid strikes were thrown. Stupid flying knees. I mean, like, what was this guy's obsession? Eh?
Yeah, he loved it. He threw it like 3 or 4 times in the span of a minute. Dude, he was spamming them.
So, yeah, I really think he fumbled the bag there. I think he could have got a knockout win on a big comeback, which would have done him nicely, but
he almost got knocked out as well, which is crazy. I did not think he was going to almost get finished by Unk, bro, D-Rod.
100%. I mean, this felt like a layup fight for Holland. Like, you know, find your footing, like knock out an old guy, see what's up. But he really didn't graft it. Fumbled the bag.
So that was pretty unexpected. I cashed out my parlay before he fought as he was fighting, I cashed it out for less money because I saw he was going to lose. I was like, you'd rather get something than nothing.
Yeah.
So that was quite bleak, but yeah. Then moving into the co-main event, which was Paulo Costa against Roman Kopylov. My underdog of the week that week, and I got it done. I was pretty happy about that, bro, I have to say. But yeah, what did you think about that one?
I thought it was a great fight. Watching that fight, I didn't have too many notes on Kopylov. I thought he kind of was just there. He was fighting. I felt like Costa really dominated the show. I feel like this was, you know, in Costa's last fights, I saw more of the rubber instead of the eraser. But this fight, he really looked on it. He looked up it. He was just throwing so like hard. You know what I mean? He was dominating that octagon.
His body work was quality. Yes. I was actually watching that fight with my dad, bro. Yeah. You're sitting there and he's like, yes, bro, that looks sore. And I was like, it fucking does look sore, bro.
I mean, it just felt like this was the Costa that like we all were hyped to see against Adesanya. Do you know what I mean? Like what we expected from him, like throwing these just like fucking hard body kicks, everything thrown with full force. Just like he's just throwing Kopylov around.
I just think getting doggy style bummed by Adesanya kind of wrecked the man's psyche a bit.
100%.
But after dominating a prospect like Kopylov, like you can firmly say Costa's on the right track. He just needs to get rid of all the shenanigans, bro.
For sure.
That's what's been messing with him. All the cancelled bouts, all the secret juice, bro. All that stuff has been messing with him a bit.
But just a question for you on Costa. You know, with the state of the middleweight division, right? It seems to be all over the place. What are your thoughts on like the future for Costa, considering the middleweight division?
I'm looking at it now, and I'm thinking. Obviously, Caio Baralo at 6 is fighting Imavov, so that's a sort of contender fight for the belt after Dricus and Howzit happens. Izzy called out Strickland again, so that's another fight they'll be looking to make. Obviously, now Whittaker's booked up. Cannonier, I think, is also booked up against someone. I can't even remember. Soon. So if you think about it, Costa's got to wait a little bit until he maybe gets a matchup in the top 10. But now the question is, you know, does he take someone who's ranked below him? Because was Kopylov, but Kopylov was still below.
No, so from what I remember, Costa was 1 rank above Kopylov. And then obviously Costa won, and that shoved him up the rankings. But I'll ask you this. What do you think about a Costa-Brendan Allen fight?
I like it. I mean, it makes sense to me. That does make sense to me. Especially after Allen just beat Vettori and Vettori and Costa matched the same. Question is, Allen might want to fight high up in the rankings.
Of course, why would he fight down?
Yeah, but in terms of the matchmaking, makes sense to me. But I want Costa to fight again, hopefully soon.
100%. We actually want to see him fight again. We don't want to hear about it and then he pulls out.
If he could fight before the end of the year, that'd be crazy. But technically is Costa, so he might have to take another 6 to 8 month layoff.
Yeah,
but
likely.
We'll see. And then, of course, the main fight: Holloway, Poirier, BMF, Holloway's retirement. Dustin's retirement. I was bleak with the result, but wasn't really surprised.
For sure.
You wanted Max to win, eh? Yeah, it's your boy, isn't he?
No, funny enough, I've never like particularly bought into the fandom of either fighter. Like I've always appreciated them. I've been like, yeah, Poirier's a sick fighter.
McGregor D-Rider.
100%. Before the allegations, make it clear. But I've never like bought into the hype particularly. I've always just watched both fighters and been like, cool, like I like both styles.
Yeah.
So I watched it from like quite a neutral point of view, and I must say the fight delivered. Absolute great striking bout. Max looked so clean.
He did.
Yes, he
He's
looked
found his
absolutely
weight class, 100%.
100%. I think that like moving up, he hasn't necessarily lost his speed. He's still like very much so
He's
faster
gained
than
power in
everyone.
his hands, but maybe lost his chin a little bit. I will say that.
100%. I mean, what?
Poirier dropped him in round 2, which
Yeah,
is crazy.
and he's been dropped what 3 times now in his last. Okay, not 3 times. I think he was dropped once.
Once by
Poirier.
Poirier when he got KO'd, and then he was dropped by Poirier once.
Yes,
in the
and
fight.
then it never got counted, but he also got dropped by Gaethje in that.
Yes,
in that
and
fight.
Max even admitted himself it was a knockdown.
That he got knocked down.
He
Yeah.
did.
But what I will say is, how did you find, or what did you expect coming in the boxing fight between the two of them? What did you think? What were your expectations?
Honestly, I thought Poirier was gonna outpower him. I thought his hands were gonna be a bit heavier than Max, but Max's hands looked very heavy because he dropped Poirier bad.
100%.
So that surprised me for sure. And I didn't necessarily think Poirier was gonna have the speed advantage, but I thought the boxing was gonna be maybe a bit closer, and it
100%.
kind of looked like Max dominated, if I'm being honest. And I'm a big Poirier fan, so like I will admit Poirier looked like it was time to retire, and I'm
100%.
glad he retired on a good term. Like, you know, may have lost, but at least he finishes having fought the best still. He doesn't like Anderson Silva gonna ruin his career. Aldo's kind of messed it up a little bit. Like
100%.
I don't want to see that happen to my boy, so I'm happy he's retired there.
And I will say, like, watching that fight, like, it just seemed that Max strategized way better for Poirier than Poirier did for Holloway. Like, I noticed that Max was very, like, in and out with his exchanges.
Yeah.
So he would jump in with his speed,
Throw
a combo, and then
hundreds.
before Poirier could react, he was out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
100%.
I felt like Poirier really struggled to understand how to deal with it.
What Oaks was saying, a lot of fighters were saying when I was watching interviews and stuff like that, they're saying it's hard when it's your retirement fight. You know you're retiring at the end of this one. Now you've got to motivate yourself, and you've got to train a 6-week camp or whatever. You've got to watch film and stuff. And now you're knowing there's nothing after this. I'm not fighting to fight for a title. I'm fighting as my retirement. So I think maybe I think he trained hard. Of course he trained hard, but do I think he maybe prepared as well as he could have, and especially going in 2-0 in the trilogy fight? Like, I don't know. He might have just, you know, not as much motivation when you're retiring.
For sure.
But he still gave it his all good retirement fight. What's next for Max?
Wow.
What do you think? I know what I think. What do you think?
Well, that's such like an interesting question because, like, do you really want to see Holloway versus Poirier so soon? You know what I mean? I mean, this is a great win. Like, you beat Poirier, and then Poirier's fight before this was Islam, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, like, he has just beat the most recent title contender. But does he deserve it? I think, me personally, one more win.
Yeah.
And in light of...
What's your matchup? Because I have a matchup that I think makes the most sense. That I think a lot of people know it. Well, what's your take though? 'Cause maybe
So
you're saying
I was
different.
just looking at the rankings now, and I was thinking of your question because I hadn't actually thought about it. But one name screams to me, and it's Arman Tsarukyan. Okay,
against Holloway.
And I say that because there's so much, like, Ilya's just come out now and said that he will absolutely not fight Arman for the next bout. And it's like, well, it's kind of fair. I mean, Arman bitched out. Like, there's no two ways about it. You know, supposed back injury. Yeah, I mean, like, really, hey? Like, what, hours the night before the fight? That's cap, bro. It's absolute cap, and I don't think he should be rewarded for pulling out.
Yeah,
I think that he needs another fight. As far as for Poirier, Gaethje's calling for it. He's saying he's only going to fight for the title.
Yeah. He's going to retire if he doesn't get the title shot, bro.
And do you not think that this kind of sets up the lightweight division nicely if Holloway and Arman fight? The winner obviously will fight Poirier. Poirier can have like a little side fight against Gaethje, which will be a banger. I'd like, Gaethje getting a little bit older now. Why not just give it to him? I don't think he's going to beat Topuria, so let's just see it happen. That's my opinion, at least. What do you?
Fair enough. My instinctive opinion was Paddy versus Holloway. I think it's a banger.
Ooh, what a shot!
I think Paddy obviously Paddy calling for a title is ridiculous. Okay, and obviously Joe Rogan fucked it up by bringing Paddy into the cage. Like everyone knows. Topuria was talking about Arman and his back, not fucking. You're talking about Paddy Pimblett.
Yeah, of course.
He's not. But I think that is a great fight because I don't know if Paddy will fight anyone else. It's not like he's going to take a Dan Hooker matchup or something like that.
Ways.
So Paddy versus Max would be a banger fight. And I think they both don't deserve the title right away. That could be maybe for the title contention. As for Gaethje, I don't know. Yeah, I think him fighting Topuria would be fucking cool. It would be a good fight. I do also think Topuria wins. And then Arman, I don't know. I believe Arman may deserve to fight for the title, but I'm also not opposed to seeing him fight again. The problem is he probably should fight Gaethje, but Gaethje's not going to do it, bro. Which is just going to stagnate the division a bit, but we'll see. Maybe we'll get some news soon, bro.
For that Holloway-Paddy fight, how do you see it playing out?
Holloway is going to piece him up. Paddy's going to try shoot. A lot of clinching because, Holloway's defense, his takedown defense is good. And I don't know, I think Holloway takes that. I think his boxing is just far superior. His stand-up game, his leg kicks will fuck Paddy up.
Yeah, 100%.
And I don't think Paddy will be able to get him to the ground and submit him like he's been able to do with his other opponents.
And even if he does get him to the ground, I'm not so confident that Paddy will be able to submit Max. No. I don't see it necessarily happening.
Max's ground defense is too good, bro. It's too good.
But I also just think that, is Paddy really that guy? Do you know what I mean? Can he really challenge one of these top 5 guys and make a name for himself? Listen, it's hard to say now.
Yeah.
But we kind of do need to see him fight. But I just personally don't back him. To quote Kevin Lee, I see holes in his game. I see holes in his game. I don't think his stand-up is that clean. I think his wrestling is good. But to trouble someone like Holloway or an Ilya or just anyone in that top division.
Dude, I don't think Paddy Pimblett he beats Dan Hooker that easily. I think he might get him to the ground and submit him. That's kind of a way the fight could end. But stand-up wise, someone like Dan Hooker could give it to Paddy. And I think anyone in that top 5, Gaethje, Holloway, Oliveira, Arman, I don't know why Islam's still there, but any of those oaks, Paddy, I don't see him beating any of them.
I don't think so either.
But Paddy versus Max, I think could be a fun fight.
I agree.
Fight. Get the lightweight division, get some new matchups. I want new, 100%. Fresh matchups, bro. And I think those are some cool ones we can get.
But I wouldn't be opposed either to my Holloway Arman suggestion.
That would also be good.
I think it would also be a good fight.
I would also agree. That would be a banger. But the problem is with lightweight is you've got 4 oaks who want to fight for the title. Paddy, Max, Arman, and Gaethje all called out Ilya. They all want to fight for the title. So they've got to suck it up and fight each other at some point. But hopefully we get something there. But yeah. And the BMF title, what do you think about it, bro? I think it's a waste of time.
Are you just speaking generally?
Just generally, I think let's get rid of it, bro. It's a waste of time and energy. Gaethje wasted a fight against Max to get knocked the fuck out. And that's why Oaks don't want him to fight for the title. I think it's a waste of time.
I think it's a token belt. I don't think it holds any weight. I think it looks cool. And even looking cool is us giving credit to the BMF belt. You know what I mean? It's really whatever. I mean, bro, just talk to me if Poirier beat Holloway and then retired. Sick. So now we have to set up another title fight for a BMF belt.
Dude, and it's what does that do to Max? If he had lost to Poirier, does he now have to fight a bunch more guys to get in title contention? It's a waste of time, and I think it's stupid. Personally, I think we know who the bad motherfuckers are in the UFC.
Exactly.
We don't need a belt to unify it. But we'll wrap that up. That's our UFC 318 little recap.
Sorry. I just want to say, how could I forget, okay? Obviously, you were talking about how you are a big fan of Poirier and also Holloway. Me, myself, I said more of a neutral. I watched that Poirier-Holloway fight, and can I just say, absolute fucking glaze fest. Oh my Christ. As a neutral fan, I couldn't believe the amount of glazing going on. It was the commentators. it was those little Twitter things that they bring up. It was like, I'm watching this fight, I can see it's a crazy fight, but now I just see 4 tweets talking about, oh my god, this is living up to all the hype, this is the craziest BMF fight ever. Like, oh god, bro, just shut up and let them fight. I really could not handle it.
It was a bit much.
It was a bit much, at least for me. Listen, if it's my fighter, I back it 100%. But because I didn't buy it, and I was like, wow, this is almost unbearable.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that is very true. No, thank you for adding that. Fuck, that is quality. But yeah, so now we can wrap up the 318. We can wrap it up, and it was obviously very lekker. Bleak to see Dustin gone, legend of the game. Always put on good fights, but you know what? There's still new prospects, still new matchups. So. We are in for some lekker ones in the lightweight division. But now, UFC Abu Dhabi, Dana White is absolutely pumping money there. He's getting so many deals under the table because Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, all of that, they cannot get enough of these unreal cards. I don't mind it because we get to watch it at a normal time on a Saturday night. So I'm
absolutely
I love it. So keep it going, Dana. Big
please.
fan. But yeah, so we're not going to talk about the whole card or all that, but if you Oaks want betting breakdowns, my video is up, and trust me, Oaks, we're going to make money this weekend. But so I want to talk about the feature prelim, which is Bryce Mitchell against Said Nurmagomedov. So Bryce Mitchell's debut in the bantamweight division, obviously going down from featherweight. He's coming off 2 losses, a bad KO against Emmett where he seized up, and then obviously got choked out by Gene Silva. So now he comes up against another wrestler, another grappler, another guy who's good at chokes. My early take on it is I think Mitchell maybe has the size advantage here, but what do you think?
Well, size advantage for sure because he's cutting, but you have to ask yourself, how well is Bryce going to adjust to this new weight? Is he gonna fatigue easier? Is his already cracked chin going to be weak? These are all questions to ask. We'll be very interested to see what happens. And I think that the most important question about this fight is undoubtedly the wrestling. Yeah. I don't think we're going to see Said going for a striking fight here. And I want to ask you on how valid you think Bryce Mitchell's wrestling is.
Dude, I think his wrestling is so valid. I think like he is a good wrestler. He has got good grappling, good jiu-jitsu. Like I think he's strong, and I think his takedown offense as well as his defense are both good enough and strong enough to compete with Said Nurmagomedov.
For sure.
So I think the one thing I do think though is obviously Said has a dangerous ninja choke, guillotine, all those things, and Bryce puts his head and neck in those dangerous positions. So I think we could be seeing a few moments where it looks like Said's maybe got the choke, Bryce maybe gets out of it. Interesting matchup. I want to take Bryce. It's basically a pick'em fight. The odds are so close. Bryce is a slight favorite, actually, which I'm surprised about.
Wow.
But I can see Bryce getting it done over the 3 rounds. You think a bit differently.
I disagree. I don't back Bryce's wrestling like that. We saw Topuria absolutely... I mean, he subbed him. Topuria subbed Mitchell. Yeah. Taught him a lesson there. We saw John Silva sub him. I mean, it was what? Topuria, Emmett, John Silva, right?
I think so.
I think it was like that. I don't know. This is a Dagestani wrestler, someone who's just going to wrestle you consistently. I don't. Oh, he also Kevin Gracie.
No, so he had Topuria subbed him, then he beat Ige, then he got knocked out by Emmett, then Kron Gracie was the fucking oak who just pulled guard on Bryce, and Bryce just
yes, of course, he absolutely murked him,
and then he obviously got subbed by Gene Silva.
So his offensive wrestling is undoubtedly good, very good.
How good is his defensive?
Exactly. And the Dagestani wrestlers are not necessarily one to take a defensive wrestling stance, right? They
shoot. They
exactly.
shoot. You know? And
they're looking to hold you, and they're looking to like give you a little bit of ground and pound and threaten. So I suppose my take is if Said's dominating the wrestling, then he's obviously going to win. But if Bryce can maneuver some attacking wrestling or some offensive wrestling, you could definitely take it. It's hard to say.
Yeah, well, I guess there it is. 2 opposite picks on that one. But I don't know, interesting fight, which is why I wanted to talk about it, because I think it's going to be a good one to end the prelims there.
100%.
Then we were going to talk about the final 3 fights of the main card. So Shara Magomedov, Shara Bullet against Marc-Andre Barriault. Shara Bullet obviously coming off his first loss against MVP, and then Marc-Andre Barriault obviously coming off a nice KO win. it wasn't a very impressive when you look at who his opponent was. Bruno Silva. That oak is far past his prime. Said he's hasn't mentally been there for a while, so maybe not the best win, but obviously Barrio is still good high level fighter. Early impressions, I think Shara Bullet's got this one in the bag.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree, really. It's a bit of a layup fight. Obviously, he took that L recently, and I think the UFC see him as a bit of a cash cow. So they're like, let's
Especially
give you.
in Abu Dhabi.
Of course. I mean, he is such an interesting character. He's got the whole look going for him. He's got
the
pirate look. He's got a very attractive to watch striking style, lots of kicks, a lot of unorthodox strikes. I think the UFC want to give him a win, and I mean, a 35-year-old, past his prime, Marc-Andre.
Did a few people have said this, not many, but some people have said this could be a dangerous fight for Shara Bullet.
Sure.
Watch out for him. Maybe Barrio can get him. I just don't see it. Marc-Andre Barrio loves to stand and trade. He likes to stay on the feet. He doesn't really wrestle. So I think he's just going to stand and trade, and Shara Bullet with his kicks and whatever is just going to absolutely dominate this fight. I could honestly see a finish coming in, second or third round. I don't think a first round finish, but I could definitely see a second or third round finish. So I think we're in agreement there.
100%. The only thing I have to say about the Shara, this fight now is that I feel like Shara is good at kickboxing, obviously. He's good at a technical fight where he doesn't have to get dirty. But if Marc-Andre can make it a bit dirty, you can get close to him, then
Bit of a clinch work.
who knows what could happen. We haven't really seen Shara tested properly like that. You know what I mean? This is obviously a bit of a layup fight, but I think Marc-Andre does have ways to win.
Yeah.
I just think that Shara will probably just keep him on the outside, pick him off, and then whittle him down and look for that KO shot.
Fair enough. I mean, there's always a chance, the underdog comes through. It's MMA, it's UFC.
It's the best part about it.
Yeah. Moving on, the co-main event, Petr Yan returns to the octagon against undefeated in the UFC 10-1 prospect Marcus McGhee. If you folks don't know Marcus McGhee, I first saw this Oak fight a few fights ago, and I thought he was 40 when he got into the octagon, because he's receding hairline, he just looks old, but he was actually not 40. He was still younger at that time, and he's absolutely he's a real deal.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a bit of a prospect record, 10-1. You'd think a young
35. It's not he's up there. He's towards the later stages of career. He kind of needs a win here if he wants to kind of fight for that title while he's still not in his prime, but still at a fighting age.
But can I just say, I will say, with MMA fighters, I always thought, as a big football fan, you tend to see players taper off around 32, 33. They start exiting their prime and whatnot. But with MMA, I find that it's more 34, 35 is your prime. I mean, if you look at all the champions now.
Well, you've just said that 35-year-old Marc-Andre Barrio is going
that
to
is true.
his
So
prime.
maybe I'm talking a little bit of shit.
It varies on fighter and
of course.
divisions as
Of
well.
course.
But I think Marcus McGhee is still very he's still dangerous at his age for sure. He's
Definitely.
not old. When you look at him fight, he's still quick.
Of course.
And I just think this matchup favors Petr Yan because Petr Yan can
100%.
wrestle and all that. He's got great judo takedowns, what do you call it? Throws, judo throws and stuff. And then obviously his boxing is one of the best in the UFC.
Absolutely phenomenal.
So I don't know, I just think a stand trading is going to be bad for Marcus McGhee. Petr Yan getting that pocket range, maybe some clinch work, elbows. Petr Yan, I don't know.
All of it.
I back him. He's 3 years younger, which is crazy because he seems way more experienced and accomplished in the UFC. So Oaks are saying dangerous underdog Marcus McGhee, which is fair, but I think
100%.
round one Petr Yan could maybe lose.
Of course, because we've seen it. We've seen it time and time again with Yan. He always needs that first round to make his adjustments, to make his reads on the fighter that he's fighting. And the thing we haven't said is that it's a 3-round fight.
Yep.
And that definitely does not favor Petr Yan. As we saw with the Sugar Show. Yep. Had that been a 5-round fight, who knows what would have happened.
Debatable robbery, of
course.
But had it been a 5-rounder, no doubt.
No doubt who would have won. And that's the kind of thing with Petr Yan. It doesn't really matter who he's fighting in a 3-round fight because that first round, who knows what's going to happen. And then all it takes is one more round for his opponent to win.
Yeah, that is also true. And I think, I saw a take earlier in the week and I agreed with it. It was if this was a 5-rounder, no question, Petr Yan. You're not even, this guy, he can maybe take round 1 to warm up, but as the rounds go on, he just gets better. He doesn't tire, and he just gets more clean. He finds his range and whatever.
100%.
So a 3-rounder, if Marcus McGhee can really disrupt him and win round 1 and 2, suddenly Petty needs a finish in the 3rd.
Yeah.
So there's obviously a world in which that happens, but I think out the gate here, I'm looking at a Petty 29-28 decision. Maybe a split.
I 100% agree. And it definitely could be a split.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a close one. It's going to be a great fight, though. I'm excited. And then, of course, the main event, which I'm even more excited for, which is Bobby Knuckles, Robert Whittaker against RDR.
I mean, what a tough fight to make a prediction on. I mean, Bobby Knuckles, come on. We've seen the time and time again. The original gatekeeper. Do you know what I mean? This man held down that middleweight division as the number 1 contender for how long? Sure, his recent record not so great, but it's impossible. Yeah, exactly. He lost to the current champion and the boogeyman of the division,
and then the former champion in
Adesanya, of course. So it's tough to say with Whittaker. I mean, and listen, it's interesting because relatively quick fight against Drickus, right? Yeah. I mean, 2 rounds. Yeah. One round against Khamzat also.
Yeah, it was round 1.
We've only seen about 15 minutes of Whittaker over his last 2 fights. It's hard to say how good he's gonna come in against.
I mean, look at Paulo Costa. Everyone was going off his last fights, and he comes out against Kopylov, and he looks like vintage Paulo Costa.
Exactly.
You don't know how Whittaker's gonna come out. He could make Derrida look super uncomfortable for 5 rounds. Yeah, RDR is super big. He's super physical. He's got good grappling and jiu-jitsu. He's fucking really good at jiu-jitsu. He's only lost to the Oak. So I can't remember the name of the Oak exactly, but he's a 3-time champ in one. So RDR has only lost to the best basically, and that guy beat him twice. So that's his only loss. But I think Oaks are ranking his Bo Nickel win too high, and
100%.
They're giving him way too many props after finishing Bo Nickel. Robert Whittaker is not that is levels between Whittaker and Bo Nickel 100%. In my opinion.
I mean, yeah, like you said, we haven't really seen Derrida tested in the UFC. I mean, yeah, a Bo Nickel win, great, cool. Doesn't do that much for you. I mean, people were literally praying for Bo Nickel to lose. Yeah. Everyone wanted to see him lose, and he got decimated by Derrida. So I think that's what makes this such an interesting fight, because you have a Bobby Knuckles coming in on weird form, on unpredictable form. We don't know how he's going to do. And we have a relatively untested, at least in the UFC, Derrida. So, I mean, this is not a fight you would necessarily want to bet on, just because it's so hard to call. Anything could happen.
I was chatting to a guy in my comments today because I posted a video on TikTok saying Oaks must go watch my betting video.
Yeah.
And the one Oak was telling me his parlay and whatever, and he had RDR in it. And I replied to one of the messages he said, and I was like, bro, I really don't know which way to go. I'm just backing Robert Whittaker, so I'm not betting on the fight, because I just am a fan of Whittaker and I want him to win, and it's so hard to bet on a fight when you have that mindset. So I bet on Poirier for his retirement fight. I did think he was gonna win maybe, but also, you can't bet with your heart in UFC fights. So when there's a fighter I really like, I don't bet on their fight, because I'm unless it's obviously they fight against a can or something. But when it's a competitive fight like that, I'm like this. I'm gonna be I can't bet because I just want to vote for one of them.
I think Topuria has given everyone a bit of a wake up call with betting on your favorite.
Dude, I bet on Topuria around 1 KO though. So
yeah, well, exactly.
I went with my head big time, bro, because betting on Dubronx to get knocked out was tough. But it is what it is. That is the betting game for you. But final pick, which one you think? And method.
Oh, fuck. See, it's even I don't want to say because it's impossible to predict. I reckon. I do think Derrida's got a nice wrestling background, right?
Well, he's got good jiu-jitsu,
exactly.
Good judo. In his interviews, he's been doing judo since he was 8 years old. So he's got good grappling, good wrestling, good jiu-jitsu.
And as of recent, we saw Khamzat do what he does, absolutely murking Robert on the ground. And let's not forget what Drickus did to Whittaker in their fight. I mean,
dropped him with the jab.
Yeah, I mean, literally head toss, threw him on the floor, and then absolutely ground and pounded him into oblivion. I mean, that round was probably that first one was probably leaning towards Whittaker, But then after Drickus took him down and murked him like that, it's hard to say. So I question Whittaker's grappling in this day and age.
Yeah, fair enough.
Someone like Derrida might see his last 2 fights and be like, hold up, I can maybe take advantage of it. So from that point of view, because he has been absolutely demolished in his last 2 fights on the ground, I'll give it to Derrida. I think that he's got it. I think that maybe he's going to challenge Whittaker in a way that Whittaker's not expecting.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, I think I'm going to go for Whittaker because I want to back him, but I also think it's another one of those fights where little bit of levels, and I know RDR's obviously faced some of the best in one, and he's a double champ in one. But I don't know, Whittaker's also only lost to the best.
Of course.
And I think he's coming to this fight with a lot to prove, and that can sometimes be a very hungry motivator. So I think it's going to be a very competitive fight. I think it's going to be a fun fight to watch. Either way, I'm happy with the result, to be honest,
100%.
because RDR is still a cool fighter. So
Yeah,
I'm going to back Bobby Knuckles, but I'm just excited for violence.
And I will just say, it's a little bit of semantics by myself, but Whittaker has recently let out a statement saying that he's got a four-fight retirement plan, where he sees himself with this fairy tale finish of retiring with the belt. And me personally, when I hear fighters talking about fairy tales and like their vision to retire with the belt, I always look and I'm like, oh buddy, you're about to get
a rude awakening.
Yeah, you are literally about to get a rude awakening. I don't know, it is semantics, but whenever a fighter talks like that, history doesn't go well for them, and I don't know if Whittaker can pull it off, but it's the beauty of the sport. We'll see.
It's the beauty of the sport. We'll see Saturday night, eh?
Exactly.
So, Oaks, you should tune in. 6 p.m. South African time, the prelims. 9 p.m. the main card. It's completely loaded top to bottom. You don't even need to know the fights or the fighters. Just tune in because it's going to be all-out violence. It's going to be super fun. But yeah, I think that just about wraps up the FightSceneZA podcast. Back with a bang. It's been a little while since the last one was filmed, so Toy, thank you for joining me.
Of course.
It was lekker to have you here, and it was super fun. Oaks, let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this, and I'll bring him back. Because yeah, it was super fun. Toy, any closing comments from you?
No, not much. If all goes well, if you guys are liking my vibes, then hopefully I'll see you soon. But yeah, keep it cool. Let us know what you think is gonna happen in the comments, and yeah, till that Abu Dhabi card.
Yeah, till that Abu Dhabi card, Oaks. It is going to be a banger. Sunday, I will drop another video, just wrapping it up real short. And hopefully I can bring Toy back on either Sunday or Monday, and we'll have another podcast, and we'll wrap up UFC Abu Dhabi together. So we'll be in contact soon, Oaks. But that's all from me. Thank you so much for watching. Check you next time.
For sure.